I'll read this in a minute. I want to talk about what a great weekend this was. We celebrated the birthday of a nation. We are so fortunate, as Chris talked about earlier. We have this freedom to live here and do all the things that we do here. We were coming back from my sister's house on the 4th. We happened to be driving about 8:30, 9 o'clock. I could see fireworks that happened in Richardson, and then we drove further. I saw them in Garland, and then further we saw them in Mesquite. I know many of you guys, Shelley was telling me Douglas sat 4 hours one night, 5 hours another night, watching fireworks there in Mesquite. I know Linda and Larry got to go watch fireworks. I hope you got to go watch that. It's so cool to see that. I don't know what it is. My wife asked me what it is about fireworks. I said, well, I think it's because it's so spectacular, and better yet, it's free. You don't pay for it. It's just something that you get. We don't get many things free anymore. It was really cool, and I was thinking about when I was preparing for this Sunday's service, I was just so looking forward to the rest and relaxation that I was going to have on this 3-day weekend. Time to relax, to rest. It's like the woman who went to her refrigerator door and opened the door, and on the shelf there sat a rabbit. And she said, "What are you doing in my refrigerator?" He said, "This is a Westinghouse, isn't it?" And she said, "Yeah, well, I'm Westing." Well, we're going to talk about resting today. We're going to talk about what it really means to rest, what it really means to relax. If you look with me in Matthew, the 11th chapter, I'm going to read start in verse 28. "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." That's a promise that Jesus has given us here, and it's a promise that we need to hear because, face it, we are tired. We are weary. That's the kind of people we are, and there are many reasons for that. One of the reasons that we are so tired all the time is because we work so much. We work so much. In 1960, Time magazine gave a expert testimony to the Senate subcommittee and said, with the progress of technology that has occurred so far and is going to occur over the next 20 years, within the next 20 years, the American person is going to work an average of 22 hours a week. The real challenge is going to be for America is, what are we going to do with all this free time? Well, that was like 50 years ago. Anybody here work 22 hours? No. I'm telling you, the more I work, the behinder I get. No. I don't know what they're talking about, all this free time. We're consumed with working. We're consumed with keeping up with people. We think we have to work 50, 60 hours a week. I know I have some of my daughters that do that. They'll work 60 hours a week. And they're wondering why they're so tired. One of the reasons we're so tired is because we work so much. Another reason that we are tired is because we worry so much. To a great extent, fatigue can be mental. Listen, sometimes our bodies feel tired not because we've been too active, but our mind has just been in overdrive, worrying about fear and anxiety and stress. Most of us don't have to work a job. Now, I know Breedlove works a job. He has to work really hard at his job. But most of us, when we have to work at our jobs, it's not so much the physical toll that it causes our body. It's that mental, emotional stress that wears us down. Worry and stress are killers. Men, see, we don't just worry about today's problems. What really buries us is that we have all today's problems and we start worrying about tomorrow's problems, putting them on top of our problems already, and then we start sinking. If you're here today, I would suspect that you either are stressed now or you have been stressed this week over something. Maybe it's been over your job. Maybe it's been over your health. Maybe it's been over a family problem. Maybe it's been over your finances. Whatever it is, these things weigh us down and we stress out and we become so weary and so tired. It's estimated that 85% of American people today are under stress. I think that's probably a low estimate. I can hardly think of anybody that's not stressed out over something sometime or another. It's this fatigue, that's mental fatigue. It just wears us out. And have you ever noticed that people who have a great positive attitude seem to have more energy?
Amen. Yeah.
They have more energy than the person who has this sour attitudes towards life. It helps to be able to do something that you like to do. I mean, face it. When I go to work and when I come home from work, I am dead tired. But I could go with Priscilla and friends of ours. We go play cards and go to. I could spend 8 hours doing that, and it wouldn't be nearly as tired as I would when I went to that job that I felt so much pressure and stress under. I love the Texas Rangers. When they moved here from Washington, I thought that was the coolest thing, that we had a major league team here in this city. But they were losers. They would never get to the playoffs, and then finally they would get to the playoffs, and they would get swept. And in 2 appearances in the playoffs, they won one game, and every time we would draw the Yankees to play, the best team in baseball, and we were in and out in no time. But I was so excited that we at least made the playoffs. Then a new coach comes in. We get new players that come in that didn't have this losing attitude that they had. These new players, this new coach came in with a more positive attitude. They enjoyed playing baseball again. And because of that positive attitude and these new players and this new coach that believed in them and they believed in themselves, they went to 2 straight World Series. back to back. Man, I'm telling you, there is so much to this positive attitude that we have about ourselves. There's so much to this energy and stuff that if we could just learn to do and love the things that we do. It was this team that found out, they're not a bunch of losers. They may have been a loser in the past, but the past wasn't who they were now. This is something new to them. And they didn't see themselves as losers. Don't see yourself because of what you've done in the past. That's in the past. You don't have to be that person anymore. Get a positive mental attitude about who you are. That's why the gospel is called the good news, because I have good news for you. You are loved. And the God that loves you wants to pour out blessings on you. He wants to be loved back.
Amen.
Listen, how you start your day is going to make a difference. I promise you. If you start your day with an attitude of depression and feeling like you're unable to cope, then that's where you're going to be. That garbage in, garbage out, as they say. If you would look at yourself the way God sees you in the mornings and thank God for a chance to go out and do something for you. Have a positive mental attitude. I cannot tell you how much a difference that makes. Now, to tell you the truth, I don't know which one came first, a positive attitude or an abundance of energy. Maybe people that have an abundance of energy, maybe it's easier for them to have a positive mental attitude. I don't know, but I do know this. The first sign of depression is lack of energy. Is a spirit of giving up. And that's not who you are. Don't convince yourself. Don't let the world tell you that's who you are. We are tired because we work too long. We're tired because we worry too much. And here's something simple. We're tired because we don't get enough sleep. That sounds trivial, but that's absolutely the truth.
Amen.
And a lot of the times the reason we don't sleep because of the stress and worry that we have in our life.
Amen.
There's something about a troubled mind that can rob us of sleep. And for many people, this is really a serious problem. Next to alcohol, sleep deprivation is the leading cause of injury and serious accidents. People being so tired that they can't do what they need to do, whether it's driving or doing anything else. Your productivity goes in the toilet when you're tired and weary. You're just not going to produce the way that you would do if you weren't so tired and weary. There are people who are such light sleepers. The slightest noise wakes them up.